Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be on Eurogamer today and talking about Valve and their new policy that bans games that force players to watch advertisements, which is very interesting. It will be linked down in the description if you want to read along or just read it for yourself. So the title goes, Valve bans all Steam games that force players to watch advertisements, breaking ad. Now this is really interesting because honestly, at least from my experience, there isn't that many games that do force you to watch ads. And I mean, to be fair, I think it's just a good way to stop that from ever happening. But I also don't entirely know how deep this goes. And it's just games that I've never played that forces you to watch ads. I do know some mobile games just port their games to Steam with all the terrible business stuff that goes along with it. So let's just quickly read this too. Not supported. Developers should not utilize paid advertising as a business model in their game, such as required players to watch or otherwise engage with advertising in order to play, or gating gameplay behind advertising. If your game's business model relies on advertising on other platforms, you will need to remove these elements before shipping them on Steam. Some options you should consider including switching to a single purchase paid app, or making your game free to play with optional upgrades sold via microtransactions or downloadable content. Developers should not use advertising in a way to provide value to players, such as giving players a reward for watching or engaging with advertising in their game. Developers should not charge other developers for access to Steam features. These include sales pages, bundles, store pages, franchises and pages, etc. Interesting. So basically the entire mobile market. Just before we continue on, I'd like to remind everyone to please like and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it if you do. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and once we do, I'll be doing a Q&A video, so please subscribe to the channel, and I really appreciate it. This article is also by Vicky Blake. Thank you for the article. Valve has implemented new rules around advertising, explicitly prohibiting games that force players to watch in-game ads. The new rules from Valve, available online and first reported by Gaming on Linux, confirm that whilst cross promotion and product placement are permitted. I mean, that you shouldn't. I think you shouldn't stop that. To be fair, you really should just cross promotion and product placement is just a thing that is going to exist in all products, not just video games. So it'd be kind of weird to stop that. Games that force players to watch or engage with advertising in order to play are not. Nor should developers use advertising as a way to provide value to players, such as giving player a reward for watching and engaging with advertising in their game. I really do feel like this might be a direct response to a lot of mobile game developers that just port their game to Steam with no changes at all, other than maybe a translation or something like that. But I definitely feel like that's the reason, because I don't know any game that isn't a mobile game that does this. And I've played mobile games that do this. And on a mobile game, honestly, I don't mind it. But I understand why Steam is not okay with that, because that opens up a rabbit hole that I'm not sure Steam is okay with. Developers should not utilize paid advertising as a business model in their games, such as requiring players to watch or otherwise engage with advertising in order to play, or gate gameplay behind advertising, the rules explain. That's interesting. I wonder what I've never seen a mobile game gate gameplay behind advertising. But then again, I haven't played a mobile game that does a lot of this type of stuff in a long time. The mobile game I've played the most of recently is the Pokemon TCG Pocket one, and that game basically has no advertising because it's Pokemon, so they don't need to do that. If your game's business model relies on advertising on other platforms, you will need to remove those elements before shipping on Steam. I wonder what does it mean by business model relies on advertising on other platforms? I don't necessarily understand what that means. Advertising, so trying to get them off of the game and into a different thing, I guess. I guess it's because they're trying to advertise something else, right? They're not advertising the game, so that's why it's another platform. I guess that's what the meaning is. Okay. You will need to remove these elements before shipping on Steam. Some options you could consider including switching to a single purchase paid app, or making your game free to play with optional upgrades sold via microtransactions or downloadable content. Yeah. Well, I suspect most of us would associate this kind of behavior with mobile games more than those available on Steam. Valve clearly thought it was necessary to clarify in clear English what is and not supported on Steam. I'm almost positive that it is because a bunch of mobile game people or developers were just porting their game to Steam and not changing anything. I can 100% see that happening, and I can see Valve not necessarily wanting that. First of all, it makes it so that they're advertising products to leave Steam, which obviously Valve doesn't want because they want them to continue playing games on Steam. And it does feel like a rabbit hole that is potentially not worth going down, because who knows what could happen with some of those paid advertisements or things like that. And Steam is considered more of a, like, hardcore gamer is not the right word, but it is more of a gaming platform than like the mobile app store, where there are games on the mobile app store, but gaming is different when it comes to mobile and PC and console. I mean, PC and console are different when it comes to games, and then PC, console, and mobile are super different. So I can understand them just having more clear rules. And honestly, I feel like this is just a good thing, just to make sure that even if it isn't happening, it's better just to have the rules there just in case. Developers are not allowed to charge other developers for access for Steam features, such as sales page bundles, storefronts, and franchising pages. I don't think any developers ever tried that. I can't imagine. That's so interesting. I wonder. Yeah, okay. Last week, Valve quietly implemented a useful new Steam feature warning users and potential purchases for how long. Yeah, that's also nice. For how long since an early access game has been last received an update. Yeah, that is also really nice too. And honestly, I feel like this is just another thing of Steam putting rules that were kind of unspoken into actual policies so they can enforce them through through Valve's, I guess, the lawyers is not the right word, but so they can actively do it and moderate the store in this way, because it is a lot easier to get a game on Steam nowadays. And so having more codified rules of what you can and can't do to have your game available on Steam is a good idea. With a lot of games that have mobile market in mind, I can understand why Steam wants to avoid some of that type of stuff. And to be fair, with the whole advertising in games is also such a weird thing. I'm very curious if any of the sports games are going to be taken down on Steam because of this, because there's literal ads in some of the sports games. That's interesting to think about, because like, it doesn't the basketball games nowadays have literal ads that play in the game? I wonder if that would count. That's interesting to think about. To be fair, I'm so detached from the sports games ecosystem for so long that I'm not entirely sure. I'm mostly going off what other people say. And to be fair, there's a lot of people that are very negative on modern sports games, there is some understandable hatred towards it, because they do seem to be getting worse. Before, it was a joke that every sports games is the same game except it's different rosters, but nowadays it definitely seems like, at least from me being the outsider looking in, it looks like the games are actually just not having as many features as they used to. Because I used to really enjoy playing like the creative character thing and becoming like a NBA player through like the lower leagues, and then the getting into an actual team and stuff like that. But it seems like those types of stuff is weird, because they just want you to buy microtransactions and watch in-game ads apparently. But this is a good rule for Steam, and I'm glad that they put it in there, but I don't think it was going to be a big problem for Steam potentially. But it's probably better just to make sure that it never becomes a problem, especially with like AAA developers talking about how they're losing money on everything, and it's just all the stuff they're trying to do to make more money, because making hundreds of millions of dollars isn't enough anymore. So yeah, but I think it's a good policy to have on Steam, and it's just nice to see Steam doing some more good things. I feel like other stores honestly should have this too. I feel like GOG probably wouldn't even. GOG is a lot more curated, so I doubt they would even let a game do that. I mean, the Epic Game Store is just a cesspool nowadays, so who knows? I doubt they'd ever do something like this, but you never know. Maybe they could. I doubt it though. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Like the video. Comment down below what you guys think about this policy. I personally think it's a good idea, obviously, and I am glad they're putting it in, and it's preventing a future problem, hopefully. And thank you everyone. If you'd like to follow me on other places, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads if you'd like to check me out on any of those platforms. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.